welcome to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Sjokz, and I'm joined by Caedrel and by Nisqy. Hello, Nisqy.
Hello.
Hi. It's so cool to interview you again. I mean, it's been like so long. I guess it was at Worlds or something last time, probably something like that. So welcome back home, also from me.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, being back in Europe is nice. You know, it feels more like my home, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad that it's still your home. Of course, you had a wonderful time over there in the US and a very successful time on Cloud9 as well. So I'd love to talk to you about everything pertaining to changing over back to EU, but maybe let's start with the game because you guys absolutely crushed it. And we saw such a big difference compared to, I guess, most of the games last week where you found your footing at the end. What was the main difference in the way you approached the game today in comparison to last week?
I'd say compared to last week, we play more map, more objective focused rather than going for solo plays. And everyone kind of knows on like what's going on the map. I think everyone trusts each other. So for example, if someone makes a call, then it's instantly followed compared to last week where we made some calls. We're kind of hesitating. But right now, I feel like we're getting on the same page, and it shows how strong we can be, I guess, if we're all on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think week one, the first couple of games you had, there was so much aggression. It felt like you guys took every single fight, even when you're ahead or behind. Do you think that you guys have come together more as a team, and is that the reason why the games are looking a lot more cleaner and the fights are a lot better?
Yeah, I mean, after our talk last week, we agreed that, I mean, we took 20 fights, unnecessary fights, even if there were like no objectives, tried to punish enemies too much. And right now we just fight when it actually matters, you know? We sometimes go for plays that we shouldn't go for, but most of our plays today, for example, I thought were pretty good, you know, and it had a meaning behind it as well. So I think that's the big difference, yeah.
And I think, talking about big difference, how are you finding the EU solo queue compared to NA solo queue? Is it a lot different from what you remember? Is it much better than the LA solo queue? How are you finding it?
I mean, for me, I like it way more just because I think the people that play in it are just better individuals. So it makes the practice easier. For example, if I need to practice a matchup and I pick it in solo queue, in NA, usually it's either a one-trick playing it or out-of-field support. But in EU, it's like either a national mid that plays it or an LEC mid, you know, because I feel like people play way more in EU compared to the pros in NA. So yeah, for me, it's just way better.
I'd love to know from yourself and then maybe from Caedrel also after, what's kind of the percentage that you think solo queue is important compared to the scrimming and the reviewing the scrims? And do you even review your solo queue games as well, or is there no point in that? And how does that work? What's kind of the division?
I mean, for me, I feel like solo queue is mostly just for mechanics and getting to know the champions and how they interact with each other. And then for me, scrims is mostly kind of, how can I say this? Making sure that what you know about a champion actually works. Because sometimes you try stuff in solo queue, it works, but then you go into scrims and it's really different, you know? And then, for me, I don't really review my solo queues because there's such a big gap from competitive, so I don't feel like I need to.
Yeah, I figured that was the case, but maybe some people just like to watch if they really crushed it, maybe they like to watch their own, I don't know. We had an interview with Hilly earlier asking about kind of yourself and Upset, and he said that you are someone who sacrifices himself for the good of the team and that's kind of how you have slotted in so far. How would you say the way you play and the way you function in this team environment is different from the role that you fulfilled on C9 as a mid laner?
I feel like when I was in C9, it was mostly I just get mid push and I make sure that my teammates don't die if there's like a random fight going on. But I feel like in Fnatic is way more controlled and people actually know and like they know how I want to play the game and what I'm doing into the game compared to where in C9 it was mostly just fighting and we're just winning these fights because, you know, I would give some CS and just move there, you know. But I feel like, yeah, in Fnatic is just way more controlled and also my teammates kind of trust me as well. So if I tell them, listen, I don't want to fight for like 10 minutes, then no one will fight for 10 minutes. But I feel like in C9 it was more like I had to adapt more to the team compared to Fnatic, where I can just play my own game and they kind of follow me through it, yeah.
And how do you see the mid lane difference between NA and EU? Do you think that the mid lanes in EU are a lot stronger? Are you finding it a lot more difficult, or were the mids in NA quite weak? How do you see the difference there?
You're always trying to
in terms
bait
of
him, dude.
competitive.
I mean, for me, I think the big difference is just mostly champion pool and aggressiveness. I think when you play in NA, you don't really get punished. For example, if you don't have flash for 5 minutes, then you will still lane really easily. But in EU, you will probably get ganked by like their top or their support, stuff like this. So yeah, I think in EU it's just way more aggressive, and also people's champion pool is just way bigger than NA mids.
Super interesting. Yeah, because you give yourself up for the good of the team, I guess you don't get noticed that much for the Kia Player of the Game awards in this
Sad.
case. Sad. Maybe, you know, it's like justice for the supports, justice for Nisqy. But now it is Selfmade. He has 58% of the votes. And yeah, Selfmade is just such a great guy to see in the jungle, especially in the current meta and what he can do with it. How have you found playing with him so far?
I didn't expect him to be this troll. For example, this game, he took my blue when I was you know, and I was like, why the fuck? Like, why the hell would you take my blue, you know? And then, but I mean, we do that all the time, you know, like sometimes I take his raptors, all that stuff. And I feel like we're kind of getting used to each other. It was not that easy in the beginning because his play is way different than what I had in C9 with Blabber. And I feel like my role kind of changed as well. So I'm just still adapting. And yeah, for now, I think we're doing pretty good. If he ends, then I will go follow him and int as well. And if he does great, then, you know, I can just chill and kind of get carried like I did this game.
I mean, there's always time for that. Can you elaborate, or I don't know if it's secret information, but I don't think it is, in terms of kind of the differences in playing with Selfmade? Is it in terms of, you know, how much he hangs around your lane, or how much he calls, or how aggressive he is himself, so you have to cover? What's the main differences?
I think Selfmade plays actually more selfish than Blabber, which was really surprising to me. I thought Blabber was like the most selfish player in the universe, but I guess Selfmade is up there as well. But also I think the difference with Selfmade is that we share opinions a lot on what we think is good for mid-jungle and how we want to play stuff together. And I think that's something that I kind of lacked with Blabber. And yeah, for now we're just still figuring out, for example, what's best for us and how I want to play the game together. But I feel like it's slowly getting together, and yeah, I think we're doing pretty good. So
yeah, I think you guys have been synergizing really well together. I think your playstyles mesh really well. And just going back to yourself, just a curious question about your personal goals. How have they changed from last year to this year? You know, you've been on C9 and now you're on Fnatic, two of the strongest teams in either opposite regions. Have your goals changed personally? Like, do you want to win Worlds now with this roster? Where do you see yourself going?
For me, first of all, I want to be a top European mid. Feel like I know that I can be at the top, and for me, it's important to be at the top if I want to do well at Worlds. So that's my main focus, and then for sure having a good run at Worlds because I didn't have that yet. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, you know. And also, I mean, winning a LEC title, I wouldn't mind it, you know, if I can. So
definitely.
Yeah, we don't mind those. As for the team environment, we've heard that it's pretty good, and we've heard that you're a very funny guy and that you're gelling well with everyone. But I do want to ask you about something specific, and we're going to get the picture up. It's the curious case of Upset's mouse mat and like his screen and like the situation. So, you know, you must look over and be like, what the hell? So what's going on here, Nisqy?
Nah, but like this guy, like the first day he arrived, you know, and his first request was that he needed another table, and I was like, why do you need 2 tables, you know? And then when he put his monitor so far away, I was like, he's inting me, you know, like I didn't know it, like this before, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's very strange to me. I don't know why it's better. For example, me, it's like right in front of me, you know. I feel like it's way easier to see everything happening, but. Yeah, I don't know, like, it's just really, really weird, you know? And then, yeah, I don't know, his mouse pad is, like, huge as well, you know? So he's just a weird guy.
We're going to have to ask him personally, but it's fun that we could get your opinion as well. So let's take a look at the standings. G2 and Rogue, they're still undefeated after 4 games. Really crazy, actually. Fnatic is getting up there now at 2-2. I'd love to know your opinion about Rogue specifically, since that has been the team that some people expected to do well, but maybe not this well. Where do you land?
I mean, I think Sjokz is actually doing pretty well. I feel like they still have the basics of what they were doing last year, where like their team play is pretty good. You know, it's their games are usually clean, and also I think Larsen has been adapting a lot to the meta. For example, I didn't know that he could play TF, for example. You know, I thought he was more like a control mage player, but I mean, he's proving that he can play kind of anything. And yeah, I think Rogue is a pretty good team. You know, also I think Odo being in that team makes them also better because he can play weak side, he can also play strong side. So yeah, I think it's just a good team overall, but yeah.
And how do you see the meta evolving specifically in mid? You know, TF still 100% win rate in the LEC, I believe. It's looking like the strongest champ, if not the best champ to first pick. Is Globals the best thing? Supportive mid, scaling, we've seen Azir, Syndra, we've seen so many mid picks. Where do you think the mid sort of meta is evolving towards?
I feel like people right now are mostly just picking the mages, just because the games on stage are pretty slow. And I mean, when the games are slow, then mages are just always meta. But I feel like the more people get comfortable on stage, the more aggressive it will get. So I'd love to see some melee mids and less of the boring control mages in play, if possible, you know. But yeah, for now, I'm just kind of following the trend of just playing control mages because everyone does it as well. But for sure, there might be some spicy picks if I'm allowed to play it in the next few games. Yeah.
Oh, we definitely hope so. It might be our chance tomorrow because we'll be closing things out with our match of the week, which is Mad Lions versus Fnatic. And maybe we can do this way today because both teams won today. So I'm going to let Caedrel give his honest and harsh analyst opinion about the matchup, and then Nisqy can see if he agrees or not and what is
okay. I like that. I like that. I think
seems good.
I think Mad Lions' early game is good, but their mid to late game is bad. You know, you saw that today as well. Just lots of mistakes. Whereas I think Fnatic, just the last 2 games they played especially, they have a lot of aggression and they're going to get in your face, and self-mid especially is going to walk into your jungle. He's going to force the early game to be in their favor. I think the mid to late game of Fnatic is just overall better, mainly because obviously Bwipo, Hylissang and self-mid are so good. They made it to the World's quarterfinals, almost made it to the semis, you know. I think they're so strong as a team. So I think I would give this to Fnatic, in my personal opinion. I think Mad Lions have a little more growth room still. They still need to fix a lot of their mistakes in the mid to late game, but they have good fundamentals.
I love that you yeah, Fnatic's for sure going to win, but I'm not going to mention Nisqy at all. Like, he's not part of it.
Well, Nisqy does his job. Like today, Nisqy did his job. He did what he needed to do. His team around him did well. And then when Nisqy's on more playmaking, perhaps he can do more of his job when he needs to be more aggressive or when he needs to kind of reel his team in whenever he needs to.
All right. Maybe a final question if the fans want to know. Have you watched any of Cloud9's games so far? Do you keep in contact, and what's your verdict?
To be honest, I'm not watching too much of NA.
That's what happens when you come back to EU, like you don't want to.
It's not that bad or anything, you know. But for now, I've been just watching LCK and LPL mostly. I haven't been watching NA too much, but I've been talking a bit to Sven and Vulcan. It seems like they're doing okay, you know. I think they're trying to match together, and I'm excited to see how well Blabber and Perk synergy will be, because I don't think it's too good right now, unless I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm happy to see that they're doing decent and hoping to face them at Worlds, of course. So
yeah, absolutely. In an hour, in fact, you can watch Perks and Cloud9 face off against 100 Thieves in the LCS. So that is really great. And do you mind if we take a selfie?
It's fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, I like to ask, you know, some people don't. So here we go. Boop, boop, and then Caedrel. Lovely.
Love
awesome. Thank you very much, Nisqy. Great to have you back, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. We'll be back tomorrow for more League of Legends. See you then.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love it.
Thank you.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
See Arma once again having a great game on this Aatrox. Kaiser looking for the Zenith Blade, can't quite land it. Solo play goes wide as well, but Patrick has been caught by Arma, who's knocked back. And look at Arma, he just sustained it. Oh, what are these shields? That's just not fair. That's illegal, as Caedrel would say. Mad Lions retreat, wounded but unkilled. Getting a Gideus tries to jump onto Jezu, but Gideus is the one who's targeted down by SK. Face call in from Treats. That's another. Tinks gets the shutdown on Gideus, and now this Ocean Dragon is available. Sharima slide in Sjokz. Limit gets the kill on blue, but there's an answer, and Tinks is still chasing. It's going to be a 4-for-1 in favor of SK, a quadra kill for the Doctor in the jungle.
I love it. You gotta hype up your fellow medical man. I like what you're doing. Nuke Duck completely out of mana. This is bad news for Astralis.
It certainly is. G2 are not done yet. They're looking for the dive. Cap's going to get the shield first. Has the reset on his ulti up and available. Can tank a few shots. Reckless coming in to follow, but now he's the one taking the out of the flash over the wall. The Q, the follow-up. One more to do it. The Kraken Slayer coming in clutch. White Knight getting shut down from downtown. And Reckless making his mark on that fight. Waiting for vision over the wall. 3-man into the 3-man. That's going to be big. Now the Pantheon immediately. The flash follow. They survive. Larson on the backside for now, uncontested. But the rest of the team now on the way in. Keep in mind, Baron's been denied, but Odoamne is here. Misfits burning a ton of cooldowns, but that's massive from Vander. The rest of the team buying space. Larson running for the hills, but that's it. The shutdown.
Vander, you absolute god! I cannot believe you landed that hook onto Larson. That was so important. And now you could help your team secure the Baron and put yourselves in a great position to win this game.
That's going to be 1. That's going to be 2. The dash over the wall, but he still gets shot. Meanwhile, Whippo going to absolute town, trying to dash through. Agenda on the run because Selfmade is just about unkillable. Skeens now has to run for the hills as well. The axe lands. There's a distance there to sweep him up if he needs it. That's the double kill for the Orianna, and a little bit of vengeance there for Nisqy.
Bah!